And let's crack on. So where did I leave you last time? Just sprayed the tank. So 2 sides, voila and voila, are black with, oh, that's not very good, is it? With the back a bit white. Tank's upside down, and I've already marked where I'm going to drill. I'm trying to get it so you don't get the reflection, which is pretty hard. The bottom of that tank's really scratched, isn't it? Okay, let's go from that angle there. I can probably mark it out. Let's use the pen. So I've already sort of marked out as well where my scape, where the sand, the rock and the soil is going to go. So this bit at the front here is going to be sand with a rock line around here, and built up towards the back will be soil and planted. Probably a few steps of rock as well. I've got lots of wood, so I'm hoping to create like a root system over the side of the rocks. It'll look quite cool. I'm going with 3 holes. Inlet, outlet, fast drain. Fast drain, 32mm, directly drained outside into the main drain. Controlled by a valve. Makes emptying the tank really quick and easy. Okay, that's that. I've already decided on the size of the bulkheads, and I'll run through all the bits and bobs and parts that I've got to use and what my selection is. So let's quickly stand you there. Sorry about it, really not. I'm going to get myself a proper camera soon. I've decided, consciously decided, it'd be easier. Okay, what have we got? We have 25mm pressure fit piping. Okay, they are secured together. It's called pressure fit because they fit with pressure. Okay, and they're sealed or glued together with solvent weld, so it melts the plastic together, creates a watertight seal. So we've got 25mm, 32mm. I think that's 40mm. That definitely is 40mm. Yep, 40mm. And we've got 25mm grey, 25mm clear, 32mm grey. And I don't need any 40mm for this job. And what do we have? So we have 90 degrees. T-junction, don't need. I've got 2 valves, ball valves. I have ordered some more gear, purely because I don't want to use that. It's a bit of a waste. Well, actually, it wouldn't have been if I could have got another one next day delivery, but I can't. And I can't do odds. So I've ordered 2 non-union joints. So these are really good because, basically, it means you can take them off, but it also gives you a fresh union, which if you look at that one, it probably wouldn't fit. No, it wouldn't. But it doesn't mean you can disconnect the pipe hook. So we're not going to use that. We're going to use 25mm and 32mm for the fast drain. Why am I using 25mm? So the filter comes with 17mm internal diameter tubing, and the only bulbs I could find were 18mm outside diameter. So the plastic pipe would fit on that perfectly, but it reduces it down to roughly 10mm, and I'm not happy with that. So I want as close as possible to maintain the flow without being restricted, because I want to restrict the flow but with using filter floss or pre-filter. So if I drop that down to 10mm, I'm going to have a really big reduction in flow, a lot of back pressure, which adds strain to the motor. And yeah, and by the time I put a bit of filter floss in there or fine media, it's just going to reduce the flow even more. So we've scrapped them, they're not in the game tonight. So we're going with 32mm for the fast drain, and there's a 32mm ball valve, so that's open and shut. Can be used to, I guess, adjust the flow if you want to, but it's not really designed. That's what a gate valve's for. And I've got all the bits. So there's a 32mm bulkhead. So you basically drill your hole through your glass, and we'll go through that in a minute. Washer front, inside, outside, and secure it down. Now I'm going to install these so the flush side is the underneath of the tank. Reason being is that if I unscrew these from the inside, I don't have to lift the tank up to take it over the top of the bulkheads. Normally you end up with that sticking up, which means you've got to lift the tank. I don't want to. I want to be able to just slide the tank. Just convenience really. So I'm going to install my out. Also, if that is on the underneath side and water seeps through onto the threads, it will actually continue down the thread. Okay, imagine that. It will run down the thread and into the actual pipe that's going towards the filter. It's not going to go onto the floor or into the wood. If I turn it this way, let me get rid of this. If I turn it that way, and that way sticking up, so solvent weld pipe underneath, okay, what we got here, there you go. So that's underneath the tank. This gets screwed on top. Water penetrates in, okay, because this is continuously submerged in the water. So the water goes in, down the threads, and potentially finds its way past the seal, and it's got nowhere to go except down. So now you've got a drip inside your cupboard. So for the sake of turning that up the other way, the leak or the drip will now go inside of the thread and will continue down into the tube. Don't know if that's right or wrong, but engineering wise it makes sense to me. So that's what we're doing. Also means that the bottom bit will be fixed, solvent welded, so it won't turn, and all the twisting will be done inside the tank. That's a 32mm, 25mm. This is for the return and the inlet pipe. Like I said, I'm going to be using valves that are on their way, and I've got 25mm 90-degree bends like that, but we'll have 3/4 inch BSP female thread, and I've got brass 3/4 inch BSP barbed hose connectors, and the inside diameter is around, it's about 19 to 20mm, which means it won't restrict the flow like the 10mm one, because that was the only other solution, was to do this. But I've just reduced from 25mm to 10mm, and that's it. That ain't good enough. So these I'll keep, and you can always use them to inject something into the water line. That's not a bad idea. I mean, ideally you'd have that, so you'd have your filter going in and then up into the bulkhead and into your tank, and you could inject something in here. I probably wouldn't, if I was going to inject CO2, I'd probably want an inline or a reactor. Yeah, made them for my other tanks. But I'm sure there is something. Or you could even use that as a drain line, thinking about it. So if I installed that from the filter and I installed that above it, yeah? And a lot of people don't think about this. It's second nature for me to do this. Okay, but obviously a lot of people aren't engineered based. Their mind doesn't work like that. They might be mathematicians or scientists. You know, they're not thinking engineering. But that to me is a perfect solution. You've got filter, okay, outlet, So the return back to your tank would come up into here and attach to there using a full bore barb and continue through. With the valve open, the water could go straight up into the tank. Now imagine you've got a hose connected here. You can buy an inline hose connector, an inline valve, which you can leave off, so the water is continuously flowing through. It's not going down here. Then all you need to do is turn this off, open this tap here, like that, and all of a sudden you've got your pump now pumping water out into your drain line. No buckets, or even have that going into a bucket if you wanted to. Use your filter to do the work for you. If you've got an FX6, it's already got that functionality built into it. All you need to do is run your hose to the drain valve at the bottom and run that permanently or via a hose pipe out to a drain line. So these are all the component parts I've got to play with. I got the 32mm pipe supports. They'll come in handy, and I've got 25mm. I definitely need more. Yep, I definitely need more for what I've got planned. And because I've got a mixed amount of colours, I'm probably just going to spray it all black. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to drill the 32mm line first, I think. So we've got the bulkhead. And that's the size of the hole we're going to have to drill. So we'll have a look. Yeah, 35 looks perfect. So with a 35mm hole, and that inside will be 35, in fact, that's the outside, which means that this pretty much just about fits inside it now, which means it's going to give me about an extra 1.5mm either side, so an extra 3mm of play, and that's perfect. That'll do lovely. So we're going to drill the tank. How are we going to drill the tank? So there's lots and lots of YouTube videos out there already, guys, but I'll run through it. Let's spin you around. I'm sorry for these really dodgy camera angles. There you go. Probably thinking, crikey. Okay, we want to drill there. That's where we're going to drill. And I'm just looking to see. It's not very flat. These are only cheap bits. I literally buy them. You can buy a pack of 3 for like £10 off Amazon. It's pointless going anything more expensive. Right. Best thing to do is to actually use a template. If I was to attach the drill to this and try and place it here, there's no guide drill as such. It would just go all over the place, literally, as it would wander, and you can't afford that. So you need to drill steady and slow. So I'm going to find, I could use that. I want something bigger, really. Something bigger. I did have something already. I've got so much scrap wood, it won't really matter. It really doesn't matter. So what we're going to do, 35mm. I'm going to drill a 35mm hole in here, where they're going to place that over where I want to. I'm going to fill that with water, and I'm going to drill through. Underneath, it's not glass, so I'm not dropping a glass disc onto a glass. If I was going to do that, I'd tape underneath. I'm not going to bother, because there's cardboard under there, and that's fine for me. So we've got that, we've got that. Excuse me. I now want a hole cutter. Somewhere. That's exactly what I have. We'll use them. There's 35mm hole cutters. Got plenty of 32mm. I've got 35mm force in there. Oh. Indeed. That'll do. And we need a drill. That'll do lovely. Do some water. I've got some water. Okay, for this I'm going to drill through the MDF first with a 35mm Forstner bit. That's all that is. It's easy when you've got all the kit. And all this is doing is providing a guide to run this in. So it doesn't matter where this goes. Let's see, I'm just going to drill it roughly in the middle. It's alright, Force Nugget and MDF's not the best combination. Because MDF breaks up. There we go. Okay. You understand. Obviously, you're only going to use this as scrap. Okay. Voila. Okay. Now, I know roughly where I want the hole. And what you could do is actually tape that down if you wanted to. Am I going to tape it down? No. Am I going to tape it down? No. Not going to tape it down. Okay, I'll put it on slow speed. Which is that. Need some water. A bottle of water in here. We do. Why are we using water? Well, sorry, I cut myself with a stamping knife the other day. 4 hours in A&E wasn't fun. So I'm just going to put a little bit, and when I say a little bit, you don't need a lot. And I'll just keep adding that. So I stand that there. And all I'm going to do I can't mute you, because if I mute you I'll play some music over it. Okay, it's going to get loud. But we're going to do this very slowly, very controlled, and just cut through using the weight of the drill. I'm literally just holding it up. Okay, so catch you in a minute. Just so you can see, I'll show you that. Okay, that white powder there is actually the ground glass. That's what that is. If I take this MDF off, which I'll probably regret, won't I? No. Let's use one of these wipes so I can collect the dirt up. I'm not all the way through. And that's pretty much zero effort involved so far. Trust me, when you're doing 10mm, it's a lot harder. But I think you can see there's not a lot to go. So I don't need that now. always good to keep stopping, don't just push it through. It'll give you a good indication on how far you've got left to go as well. Let's put this wetness. I've got MDF worktops, well not worktops, but I just don't want really water over the surface, it's quite flat. Okay, we're so close. This is only 6mm glass. So we're not far at all. Probably don't need any water. We'll add some. This just keeps the cutter from drying out and heating up and blunting. Voila! And when you do this, because you've got nothing underneath, you'll get tear out. Now I've done it on the inside because I don't mind if the seal's not as good on the inside, but I won't worry too much about it. If you were to do it the other way, and this is on a flat surface, with a board underneath that you're going to drill into, you wouldn't get the tear out. It's just like cutting a piece of wood. And there's the hole. And as you can see through, oh, the disc is underneath. And I can just see a little bit of a tear out there. But actually, if you look at the disc, you can see it's got a bit. So just be careful with your hands. And what I'll do is I'll run some wet and dry paper over that to smooth that around. Or I've got Dremel with a glass polishing attachment, but it's not necessary. Okay, so that's the fast drain done. Just to prove that I'm not mental and it will fit. Remember what I said, smooth side will go flush. So the female, that'll go like so, and that'll sit on top. And we'll tighten them up from inside the tank. Because that means that if I want to remove the tank, I do these from the inside. All these are loose, and the tank just slides forward, rather than that, like so, and then having to lift the tank up, because these will be fixed. Okay, but essentially that's what it will be like, just the opposite way around. You can see it's got a bit of movement, but I can assure you that will create a nice seal. So that's the fast drain done. Now I need a cutter, which would be interesting. I need a smaller cutter. What have we got? I've got a 45mm, too big. I've got a 60mm, too big. I need one that's going to do this. I have a 25mm, but it's not the same type. It'll probably be fine. Let's have a look. So, what I could actually use, I'm just looking now. So this is a 25-bit attachment, the 25-bit bulkhead. Now, would I be worried about how much that's actually covering? Let's bring you up here. Now ideally your seal, the seal that you're providing, is only as good as this and the area that it covers on this hole. Now I can see that it, out of 10mm, which roughly that is, 5mm of it is actually sealed. It does mean though that if you were to move that over, all of a sudden you've lost it. And let's have a look, see if that theory is right. Okay, so we would in theory line that up perfect, and we go to tighten it. As we're tightening it, she starts moving and she moves off, and as you can see, I don't know whether you can actually see, can you see the hole? Yeah, there's a hole just here. So that's no good. The hole's too big. Although it does fit, by the time you tighten up, you could easily just move it off. Loads of people would be like, ah, nah, that's fine. Use some silicone. Silicone deteriorates over time. And the silicone around a seal like that under pressure, because it's submerged, will deteriorate faster than these seals on here. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. It's your tank. Last thing you want is just a tank that leaks all the time. That would be so frustrating. Yeah. The dog's going mad because she's locked outside. Okay. So, time to put the 35mm Forstner bit back. And I need to cut a hole for that one. So, I've got a feeling that this is a 25mm. What size is that? Oof. That's going to be tight. That's going to be really tight. I don't even like this cutter. I got this cutter for rock, to drill through the rock, not to drill through this. Now it is 25mm. So it'd be perfect for the outside diameter of the pipe. But I guess I could. I really need my caliper. But the battery's gone on it. No, that's not good. Let's drill it. Who dares wins. Who dares wins. Okay, I need a 25mm Forstner bit. Let's grab that. We'll use the same bit of MDF. By the way guys, you don't need to use a Forstner bit, it's just what I have pretty much in every size. So for me it's handy and convenient. Hole saw will do, it's exactly the same job. In fact, through MDF it's easier with a hole saw because it doesn't have a flat plate. I'm just cleaning these up. I like to keep them, my cutting bits clean where possible. You don't have to use a Dettol wipe though, but hey ho, it's just what I've got handy. Okay, I'm going to spin this around. I've got 2 holes to cut now, so I'm actually going to speed this bit of the video up. You're not going to see it. Okay, I'll put you there. Oh, you still there? That's not very good, is it? Yeah. Gimbal mount. Okay. Let's throw that there. Oh, I hope this is as good as my other cutters, because this was bought for the rock, not for the glass. It is diamond tipped, so in theory it should do the same. Quick one, guys. So, there's a line here. Basically, under the support for this, I've got a piece of 4x2. And the distance was, I don't know what it was, 34 up to it. So I'm happy that I can get all the way around that. So I've gone there. It's not too close to the edges. Shouldn't put any undue stress in it. And it's in the corners. So we'll go with that. We're gonna go with that. Let's do that. So line up where you want to cut, roughly. If this was a precision job, I would be taping this down, but it isn't. I'm gonna add a nice bit of water in that. Also, and I'm gonna fast forward this because you don't want to watch me do this. Now you see what happened there? In fact, I'm going to show you. Why not? It's all about learning, isn't it? Okay. So because there's no pilot hole, and if you don't hold this down tight, what you end up with, one part of the drill bit will catch before the rest. And I've already noticed that this isn't perfectly flat, a bit cheap. So you get what they call wander, where the drill bit will wander. And what you end up with, God, I can't focus it. Can you see the white swells? That's where one edge caught first. And then as it goes round, it catches the neck. So it actually does that. Okay, and it starts moving along. That's what the MDF's for. But it means I've got to apply a lot of pressure. Or more pressure. I can't really clamp it. No, I could. But I'm not going to because I don't want to put any more undue stress on the frame itself. But I'm going to hold this here. Once it's drilled, once it's started and it's bit into the surface, it'll be fine. So nice and slow. Scoring the surface. Definitely not as nice and good as the other one. Oh. Have a look. So because it's not flat, and it really isn't flat, it's really out. So if I hold it upright, she's going to cut one side faster than the other, which means she's going to try and wander. And if I try and compensate, this guide hole isn't going to do it. And because I'm not got a circle all the way around, she'll just slip out. So I'm going to have to just nice and slow and keep going. There's no other choice really. That's all I can do. And obviously because I'm using MDF, because it's a bit cheap, as you add water it swells, which then grabs hold of this. I'm just going to take this off. As you can see, as it's burning through, well, not burning through, as it's cutting through, this is probably going to make a slightly bigger hole, which is not a bad idea. I don't care. But I'm just wondering how fast it's wearing through this. Clutch is now, you see, she's now got a nice bed. So I don't need the MDF. See where we are? Make sure it doesn't get too hot. I can feel that heat. It's not too bad. What you don't want to do, hence why you add water, because that keeps it cool as well. You don't want to heat the glass up. A, it damages the tip of the saw, and B, you can crack your tank. So we'll just put a little bit more in that. We're really close to going through now as well, and then we'll do the next one. I was just about to say then, it felt like I was through on one bit. And in fact, yeah, it is. It's gone through one side. So like I said, because she's not a flat cutter, she's actually cut through on one side, and I can see, oh, there you go, I told you she wasn't flat at the beginning. You see there, where it's cut through already. So she's not far at all. I could probably just tap that out, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do this slowly. Obviously, a problem with it cutting through unevenly is that the water drains out quicker. There we go. Let's check that. So, this one's got a lot of flakes. So be careful with your hands, guys, if you're doing this. Yeah. Because she's uneven, it's not anything I'm worried about. No. Obviously you want as clean a cut as possible for the seal to sit flat on it. I would love this to be better, but it's not, and I'll make do with what I could do, and that's fine. If it's really nasty, don't be scared about using a bit of silicone. I know I said don't, and I don't, but don't be worried too much about it. Okay, we're ready for hold number 2. I'm going to turn it on this time. Guess we could measure it, couldn't we, just to see if she's roughly in the right place. So I'm talking 1, so we're talking 3.5. I'll take, actually, that's not very, I like things symmetrical, guys, so I'm a pain in the ass. So I'm talking 3.5 that way, 3.5 that way. Where's my pen? I literally just scribbled these on. I know it says 4.5 because I never count the first one, purely because this has play in it. And generally, sometimes they'll have play as much as 2 or 3 mil. So always go to number 1 and then take your reading, which is 4.5 minus 10 mil, which is 3.5. So happy with that. And same on this side. And we were miles away. I'm happy with that one, that's fine. So, just to make it a little bit more uniform for my own sanity, drop that in there. Check, check, check again. Nice and slow. We'll start it off and I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch it. Health and safety, guys. Always wear goggles. It's a bit bad putting them on this late in the game, but you don't want any glass shards spraying up. Do as I say, not as I do. Progress. There's a nice channel there. Little bits of shards because she's not flat. Some water on there. Place the drill bit. Progress check. It's always worth stopping, reassessing, reevaluating and see where you are and then moving forward again. I also know that I haven't got that far to go, which means I can reduce the pressure that I'm applying to this. Right guys, I'm going to stop there a sec. When you're drilling glass, metal, not necessarily wood, you can hear the difference in the tone, and that indicates the depth of what the material cutting through. And this is starting to get higher pitch, which means the glass is actually getting thinner. So when you start hearing that change, you know you're also very close to the end. Bit of tear out at the end there. I'll have to have a look to see what that's like underneath. Okay. This way, drilling the other way can make more sense. But I'm going to show you what it does. Give me a second. I'll put that over there so it's safe. Okay. If I spin that over, actually the colour is fine. You can actually probably see. Okay. So you can see a little bit shard. So these are chip outs. These are on the bottom, and that's purely because it didn't cut straight through. I've just got a bit of glass under there, so it chips. There's quite a lot of chipping as well, but the gasket's fine. The gaskets will cover it, so I'm not too worried about that. But there's an example there where it's not round. My other cutters were better, but still. Okay, I'm happy with that so far. So that's the tank. That's the tank drilled. Okay. We've got two 25mm holes and one 32mm hole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this the end of this part, and I'm going to clean up and then bring you back, and we'll fit the plumbing pieces. Dry fit, make sure everything works fine. See you in a minute.